To understand the ethics of professional accountants, you need to understand what professional accountants do, or more precisely, who they work for. You can be a professional accountant in public practice, or you can be a professional accountant within an organisation. If you're a professional accountant within public practice, then you will serve a client organisation. So you'll serve one of these other organisations. And if you're in public practice, you'll almost certainly start off either delivering audit and assurance services for an organisation or tax services for an organisation client. When you've qualified, you might be able to move into something like corporate finance, forensic accounting, or insolvency. Now, most people who train in public practice train with a professional body called the ICAW, but some people also train with the ACCA if they're going to qualify as a professional accountant in public practice. But many people train to be accountants within organisations. And the main body where people train within an organisation is CIMA, but some people also qualify under ACCA when they work for an organisation. Now, if you're a professional accountant working in an organisation, your organisation can be a private sector organisation, public sector organisation, or even a non-profit sector organisation. So hopefully that's helped you understand a bit more about the two types of accountant that there are. Now let's go back to the accountants working in public practice. There are 4 big accountancy firms: PwC, Deloitte, EY and KPMG. Now they're the biggest 4, but don't think that they're the only accountants. So for example, Grant Thornton are the largest public practice in Sheffield, but they're 5th. They're not in the big 4. Now many people think if I want to train in public practice, I need to get into one of those big organisations. That's a misnomer. For example, I trained and qualified with PKF, and that's helped me in my career. And the point I want to make is if you want to qualify as an accountant, a professional accountant in public practice, why not think about a lot of these medium-sized and smaller public practices? What I find is that many students actually fit into these medium-sized and smaller organisations better than the large practices. So why not have a think about that if you want to train in public practice? But you don't have to if you don't want to. So just to remind us, if you do choose to train in public practice, you'll be training with either the ICAEW, and there's also a Scottish version of that institute that some people train with, or you're likely to be training with the ACCA. Now, which is better? They're both good. I'm not going to make any comments about the differences about quality. They both give you a professional qualification. That's all that matters. Now remember, ACCA can help you train in public practice. It can also help you train in an organisation as well. And remember, the main professional body that focuses on training accountants within organisations is CIMA. So CIMA here have got a list of all the types of employers that will train you. So let's have a look at some of these employers beginning with A. You could train to be a professional accountant with CIMA within a council, within a food company, within a telecommunications company. You could train at the Arts Council England to be a professional accountant, at an architects or construction company, Arups. You could even train in a brewery. The reason why I'm showing you that is that if you train through CIMA, there's a whole host of organisations that you could become a professional accountant in. Now, we've just had a quick look at the 2 types of accountant you can be, in public practice or in an organisation, and we've looked at the 3 main bodies who you'll train with to qualify. Let's go back now and consider what a professional accountant is. Now, the Independent Federation of Accountants write this: a distinguishing mark of the accountancy profession is its acceptance of the responsibility to act in the public interest. A professional accountant's responsibility is not exclusively to satisfy the needs of an individual client or employing organisation. Now, this is really important. Most people think they're here at university to get a job. Well, university is more than just getting a job. If you're considering being a professional accountant, it's important for you to understand that a professional accountant has a duty, and their duty is to act in the public interest. Their duty is not just to serve a client or serve their employer. Their duty is also to behave in a way that will contribute meaningfully to society. And that's why ethics is so important, and that's why governance is so important and so connected with ethics. Because remember, when we talked about governance, we talked about how organisations behave and act in society. And one of the ways that we can influence the behaviour of organisations for good is by professional accountants acting ethically. Now, I know you'll say to me, well, how can a professional accountant act ethically? And the interesting answer is each of the three main professional bodies have all got roughly the same answer. Let's have a look at CIMA's answer. CIMA says an ethical professional accountant who's qualified with CIMA will always follow the 5 following principles: integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, confidentiality and professional behaviour. Now, what do they mean? I'm going to cover that in the next video, but let's see how ACCA argue that a professional accountant should behave. They argue that a professional accountant should always act with integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, confidentiality and professional behaviour. Their principles of ethical behaviour are exactly the same as CIMA's. Let's have a look at ICAW. Again, the ICAW say if you're qualified as a professional accountant with us, we want you to act with integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, confidentiality and professional behaviour. And why? Well, they explain here, and this holds for all the 3 professional bodies. Ethical behaviour of professional accountants is vital to ensure compliance with the accountancy profession's commitment to the public interest. The nature and complexity of what accountants do means their work has to be trusted to be of value. So, hopefully you're understanding why professional accountants are important to society. It means that people can trust numbers. And when people can trust numbers, it benefits society in a whole host of ways. And hopefully you're understanding that there are 3 types of professional accountants, and they work both in public practice and within organisations. Which leads us neatly on to the first activity here. Nice and simple. When this video ends, why don't you just take a little bit of time to have a look at the CIMA or the ACCA or the ICAW website. Nice and easy to find in Google. It'll help you get more of an awareness of how these professional bodies act and how your career as a professional accountant, if you choose to become a professional accountant, might progress.